Good morning. So today I will discuss about the topic hemorrhage. Hemorrhage, how do we define the hemorrhage? If the blood escapes from the blood vessel, which may occur externally or internally into the serous cavities or into a hollow viscous. Hollow viscous means hollow organ. So generally blood flow within the inside the blood vessel. If it is escapes from the blood vessel, and that may cause externally or internally into the serous cavities or hollow viscous, then we call it as hemorrhage. Then there are certain terminologies which you should know if hemorrhage occurs in different places. How we define that terminologies? First is the hematoma. Hematoma, it is defined as if there is extravasation of blood into the tissues with resultant swelling. You might have observed if there is a trauma, immediately there is a swelling. Sometimes there is a rupture of blood vessels and the blood will escape from the blood vessel. So this extravasation of blood into the tissues along with the swelling, we call it as hematoma. The next term is ecchymosis. Same thing, that large extravasation of blood into the skin and mucous membrane. Hematoma was extravasation of blood into the tissues. So if it is into the skin and mucous membrane and into a large amount, then we call it as ecchymosis. Then purpurage, again, if the extravasation of blood into the skin and mucous membrane, but area will be small and the diameter is up to 1 centimeter. If there is small areas of hemorrhage up to 1 centimeter into the skin and mucous membrane, we call it as purpurage. Then petechiae. Petechiae means again the same into the skin and mucous membrane there is bleeding. So, but the size will be minute pin head sized. So minute pin head sized hemorrhages into the skin and mucous membrane, we call it as petechia. So you might have observed the ecchymosis, purpurage and petechia all are the bleeding under the skin and mucous membrane. If it is in large amount, we call it as ecchymosis. If it large area, if it is small areas up to 1 centimeter diameter, we call it as purpurage. If it is minute pinhead sized hemorrhage under the skin and mucous membrane, we call it as petechia. Then diapedesis. I have already described in the inflammation and in the inflammation chapter. If there is microscopic escape of erythrocytes into the loose tissues following marked congestion. If there is marked congestion, there is inflammatory lesion. If there is, when there is leukocyte margination and pigmenting is there, escape of leukocytes. So along with the escape of leukocytes, some RBCs are also escaped from the blood vessels. That is called diapedesis. Now, what is the causes of hemorrhage, or in other words, what is the etiology of hemorrhage? So this blood loss may be large and sudden, that is called acute. If there is large and sudden blood loss, we call it acute. Or if there is small repeated bleeds, it may occur over a period of time, we call it as chronic hemorrhage. So there are two types of hemorrhage, acute hemorrhage and chronic hemorrhage. So blood loss may be large and sudden, we call it acute hemorrhage. And if this blood loss is small and in repeated bouts and over a period of time, then we call it as chronic. So regarding the etiological factors, first and immediate or the most important is the trauma. So if there is trauma to the vessel wall due to accidents and other factors, so there may be penetrating wound of the heart or blood vessel during labor, etc. So if there is trauma to the vessel wall, there is penetrating wound into the heart or blood vessel during labor, so there may be hemorrhage into the tissues or hollow viscous or serous cavities. So trauma is the most important cause. Then there are some spontaneous hemorrhage. Spontaneous hemorrhage means if there is rupture of aneurysm, if there is infection, that is septicemia, purpura, Purpura, there are so many causes: acute leukemia, scurvy due to vitamin deficiency, pernicious anemia. So in these cases, there may be spontaneous hemorrhage. Then if there is inflammatory lesion of vessel wall, like peptic ulcer, typhoid ulcers, and if there is blood vessel which traverse the tuberculous cavity of the lung, so these are the causes of the inflammatory lesion of the vessel wall. So bleeding from chronic peptic ulcer, typhoid ulcers, blood vessel traversing a tuberculous cavity in the lung, so these are the inflammatory lesions which may cause the hemorrhage. Then there are some neoplastic invasion. Neoplastic means there are some cancer invasion. So hemorrhage following vascular invasion in carcinoma of tongue. Example is the carcinoma of tongue. And there may be the carcinoma lesion. There may be invasion of the vessel wall. Then vascular diseases. The most important example is the atherosclerosis. And another causes are if there is elevated pressure within the vessel, mostly the diastolic pressure. So in that case, there is cerebral hemorrhage causing stroke, retinal hemorrhage in hypertension. These are the few causes of elevated pressure within the vessels. Now, these are the causes of hemorrhage. Then if hemorrhage is there, what would be the effect? What will effect on the body if there is hemorrhage? So the effect of blood loss, whether it is acute or chronic, that depends upon three factors. First is what is the amount of blood loss? What is the amount the blood with our body is losing the blood? Second is how much, in what speed the blood is lost from the body. Third is what is the site of hemorrhage, whether it is the vascular organ or any other organ. So it depends upon the effect depends upon amount of blood loss, what is the quantity of blood loss, in what speed this blood is lost, and what is the site of hemorrhage. So depending upon the three factors, the effect may be, if there is loss up to 20% of blood volume, whether it may be acute or that may be chronic, that has little clinical effect, because our body has a compensatory mechanism to compensate this amount of loss in the blood volume. Our body has a compensatory mechanism. So 20% loss, whether it may be sudden or slowly, that has little clinical effects. If there is sudden loss of 33% of blood volume, that may cause death. If it is sudden loss, 33% of blood is lost, that may cause death. While if there is 50% of blood volume over a period of 24 hours, may not be necessarily fatal. You may understand this. If sudden loss 33%, that may cause death. But 50% of blood volume is lost in 24 hours, that may not be necessarily fatal. However, the chronic blood loss generally produces iron deficiency anemia, whereas acute hemorrhage may lead to serious immediate consequence such as hypovolemic shock. If there is acute hemorrhage, there will be loss of blood volume, the volume of the blood lost from the body. So there may be hypovolemic shock. What is hypovolemic shock? I will describe when I will teach you about the chapter shock. But chronic loss, if there is chronic loss, that may produce iron deficiency anemia. So this complete the chapter of hemorrhage, topic hemorrhage. In the next class, I will teach you the shock. Thank you.